Good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA, and today's real user review, we'll be taking a look at the Huckberry Merrell Collab Agility Peak 5 shoe. Now, Huckberry did send me these shoes for free for review, but all the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with Huckberry or Merrell prior to publication. They will see this when you do. In addition to that, there is an affiliate link in the description box down below. If you're considering buying these shoes or anything else from Huckberry, please consider using that link. It doesn't cost you anything extra. I do get a small percentage of the sale kicked back to me, but all of that money goes back into the channel to help me purchase more product, to do reviews, to help more consumers make more informed purchases. So, this is the brand new collab. I believe this just dropped 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. I got it a little before release, so I have been running in this for a period of time, and I just ran in it this morning, which is why you can see probably all of this dirt dropping from the sole. I don't remember exactly how many miles I have in this shoe now. I was trying to keep track, but I've been swapping out. This has not been the only shoe I've been running in, so I've been swapping out between these and another shoe that Huckberry sent me for review, plus another shoe that I'm beta testing, so I've been kind of jumping between running shoes quite a bit. I do know I have minimum 30 miles in this shoe, probably close to 50 or 60 miles in this shoe now at this point. I have been doing some longer runs, so the miles add up quickly. In hindsight, I should have kept a running log so I can keep track of all of the miles in each pair of shoes I've been testing, but hindsight is 20/20, and as clear as that is to me now, it was not at the time, because I do most of my running early in the morning. So I'm getting up, I'm pounding some Gatorade, I am putting on my shoes, I am putting on my running clothes, then my shoes, then I'm heading out the door with Duke the dog, and we're going for our runs. First impressions of this shoe were running on streets. Now, this is a trail runner, but I ran on the streets with this. Varying terrain, I will say. I live in northeastern Pennsylvania, so even though I'm running on flat road, it's nowhere near flat. Roads are mostly potholes. Sidewalks are usually flagstone or cracked concrete, or no sidewalk at all. So a lot of my actual road running is it's mixed terrain. I've run on crushed gravel, I've run on some technical trails with this. So let's start as always with a spec rundown, and then we'll get into the review. The Huckberry Merrell Agility Peak 5 comes in at $140 USD. As I stated earlier, this is a trail running shoe. It is constructed from a breathable mesh and TPU upper, an SBR and mesh collar and tongue. It is Clean Sport NXT treated for odor control. For those technical trails, it does have a rock plate for foot protection. It has a Flex Connect dual directional midsole for enhanced ground connection, and a Vibram Mega Grip high performance outsole. The shoes weigh roughly 10.58 ounces per shoe, and on Merrell's trail running scale, these are ranked as rugged for trails with heavy obstacles and debris. And I did take these on some fairly technical trails. I do live by a plethora of state parks, and I did trail run at one of my favorite state parks on a couple of occasions. Those I didn't actually take Duke with me, but because I was running up and down basically steep hillsides with lots of rocks, lots of roots, and old stone walls that used to be property barriers, I didn't film just because I wanted to really test the shoes and get a good workout in. So I didn't film because I wanted to tackle the trails and really see how the shoes handled, and they handled really, really well. But my first forte was, again, road running. And that was, I think, the only time I actually ran in the rain. It had rained early on in the run. It kind of tapered off as I was still out there. I want to say I did about a 5.5 mile run, and I'd say these took about 5 miles or so to break in. Right before I was getting to the end of my run, I realized I wasn't getting any more of that foot pain, or I wasn't getting like stabbed or jabbed in any uncomfortable ways, because the shoes were quickly breaking in. And for like a $140 shoe, that price point, I find most shoes in that price range break in about that 5 to 10 mile range. I'd say the Merrells, like some Brooks, Hoka's, all of those seem to break in that 5 to 10 mile range. If you're gonna get some cheaper shoes, I've noticed like Nikes, they'll take like 15, 20, 25 miles to really break in. So I would say the break-in period is on par with a shoe of this price point. So about 5 miles or so. I can't say they might have broke in slightly sooner, but I noticed almost towards the end of the run that I wasn't getting any more of that little aches. Usually for me, I get a little pain in my arch, mostly my left foot, but I noticed about 5 miles in, I wasn't getting any of that anymore, so they broke in pretty quickly. Also, the treads, they're a little bit loud on those smooth surfaces, because you can see it is a lug sole, which they're trail running shoes, so they do have a lug sole on it to conquer varying and technical terrain. So it is kind of loud when you're running on smoother surfaces. So if you are going to take these on the streets, on the road, they are going to be a bit louder than your average running shoe. It's not an issue really. I personally, I don't listen to music when I run. I don't have earbuds when I run. It messes with my cadence. So if you listen to music, you probably won't notice it at all, but I don't listen to music. So all I hear is Duke sniffing and me running and me saying, Duke, come on, Duke, come on, Duke, come on. So they're a little loud. I heard it. If you wear headphones, earbuds, you're probably not gonna notice it. The other thing I noticed day one is there's quite a bit of flagstone on my runs. And usually when the flagstone is wet, like it was the very first day I ran in these, I'm slipping and sliding in my running shoes. I'm talking, it's like a slip and slide out there on that flagstone. But these Agility Peak 5s, they handled it no problem, even though it was wet and I was running uphill. They had plenty of traction. I didn't slip at all. I ran over with ease. So a little loud, but they handle wet flagstone really, really well, where other shoes I probably would have been slipping and sliding. I would have had to either jump into the grass or jump into the road to continue my run without, twisting an ankle or bending my knee in a direction that it's not normally supposed to bend in, because I'm an old man now and that's something that I could totally see happening to me. So then we took some soft trail, some like crushed gravel down by the river, and that was really good. That's the run we just did. Did I do it this morning, yesterday morning? I can't remember. Days don't make sense anymore, but you can see I still have quite a bit of that loose gravel stuck in the sole. And a couple of years ago, we actually had a flood that pretty much put that whole area underwater. So they kind of regraded it, but it is varying mixed terrain. So even though it used to be a nice, smooth, level, even walkway, or it's a rails to trail, so like it goes along the railroad tracks down by the river, it's a lot more varying terrain. So there's some potholes, there's a lot of grass, there's dirt, there's some larger rocks, and then the crushed gravel. So it handled that terrain really, really well. I had plenty of traction. I didn't at any point feel like I was going to twist or break an ankle. But the part where they really shine is when I went to the state park and I was doing some of that technical running. These were great. And if you've lived in Pennsylvania, done any hiking in Pennsylvania, you will know that Pennsylvania is just littered with tree roots, because our trees seem to grow right on the top of the soil. They don't like to put the roots deep, and on hiking trails it's a nightmare because they just erode, and it's just roots, rocks. In this particular state park, it used to be old homesteads, so there's lots of old stone walls that they kind of just notched out holes in so the trails can go through. So there's a lot of terrain, and it's the state park, so they don't have nearly enough forest rangers. So when a tree falls, oftentimes that's also in the way. So doing some of that technical terrain, I was going up and down a hillside. They handled it amazing. I was really, really happy that I had that rock plate, because there's a couple of places where at some point they try to do some trail maintenance and they laid some rocks and stuff over some like wet points, and there's lots of holes. The rocks are completely uneven, in addition to all the uneven tree roots. So slamming my foot down hard on a lot of those rocks, that if I did not have that rock plate protection in the foot, inside the sole, I would probably have I would have gotten injured. So they handled the terrain great. They got plenty of traction. I didn't have any slippage, but that rock plate really, really saved me. I truly believe it saved me from being injured, because this trail, I do a lot of hiking on it. I don't know how many times I've hurt myself hiking on it, walking in it, because sometimes if we're not going too far, or I don't intend on going on some of these trails, I'll just wear like an old pair of running shoes if it's real hot, because they're mesh, they breathe well, and I'll just use those as my hikers. And then I end up on some of these trails and I end up hurting my foot. So the rock plate, I can guarantee, saved me from injury on some of these trails. I want to say I did maybe 7-8 miles maybe that day. I don't remember. And then I came back and I did a quicker 5-mile run, maybe a little over 5 by the time I got back to the car. So I did 2 technical runs in this shoe, handled both of them very, very well, both in the same area. One, I just didn't go back as far. The trail, I can just keep going. If I keep making a right, I'll just keep going and going and going. If I eventually make a left, I come back. So the second time I went up there, I just made a left sooner. So same basic trail, handled it really, really well. Rock plate saved me a lot from injury. And one thing you can see is these are still really, really clean. I think personally, I must have changed my running style because a lot of my shoes would get trashed really, really quick. And I noticed I do have another pair of shoes that are white that I thought would be completely dirty the first run. And they're still, after about a month of running in them pretty heavy, they're still pretty white. So I think I might have changed my running style. In addition, it only rained the very first day I ran in these. So I didn't have a lot of rain or mud or slop that I was running in after that first day. So I think that also helped, obviously, to keep them clean. But anything that kind of came on them, it brushed off and they came very, very clean. So all in all, the running experience in this shoe was awesome. It fit really, really well. These are a size 9. I generally wear a size 9. Some boots I'll wear an 8.5, but generally all of my running shoes are 9. And just double checking, yes, these are my 9s, and they fit great. They fit true to size. They fit me well. I didn't have any slippage. The arch support was in exactly the right place that I wanted it to be. I had no rubbing on the heel, so I didn't get any blistering. The only thing that I kind of didn't like about the shoe is I felt like these laces were really, really thin. Honestly, I'll probably just get another set of laces, try to get something similar in color because I like this color combo, and just swap them out. But it was by no means a deal breaker, and I obviously continued to run in them for 50, maybe 60 miles or so. So they work really, really well. The only thing I would personally change with these shoes right now would be the laces. I find the laces were just a tiny bit too thin for my taste, which I don't think I have very big hands, but it just felt thin in my hands. But honestly, if that's the only thing I would change, which is something that doesn't affect the performance of the shoe at all, they're doing really, really well. So all in all, the Merrell Agility Peak 5s were a great running shoe. I like this colorway too. They got some nice subtle branding on the back. Huckberry, you have your Merrell branding and your Agility Peak 5 on the inside. I really like this color combination. It's very earthy. I don't like a super flashy shoe. Might not be apparent in another video. If you see another running shoe video I did, that is quite bright of a shoe. Sometimes I like a bright shoe, mostly when I'm running early in the morning before the sun comes up. That's the time I like to wear bright colors because I like to stand out because it's still dark out and I don't want to get hit by a car. But when I'm running on the trail, I don't necessarily have to worry about getting hit by a car. If I do, someone else is doing something very, very wrong. But all in all, I really like the colorway. I like the fit. I like the feel. I liked the performance. I was getting out of the shoe what I was giving to it. I didn't feel like it was sapping any of my energy. The sole or the insole was comfortable enough. It gave me just the right amount of squish without being like pillow insole that, you know, you take a step and it completely absorbs all your energy and then you're not getting anything back out of the shoe. Like, you know, I equate it to like running on sand. When you step on wet sand, all of your energy just goes right into the sand. Nothing comes back up and gives you that kickback, which helps you to propel yourself forward farther, faster. But the insole has plenty of comfort, yet it had plenty of response. It was giving me a nice springy step. I was getting back out of the shoe what I was giving to it. It fit well. It was comfortable to wear. Multiple varying terrains. It worked really, really well for. So all in all, very, very satisfied with the Merrell Huckberry Agility Peak 5 collab. Like the colorway, like the fit, like the feel, like the finish, liked what I was getting out of it. Only thing I would change with this shoe is I would make the shoelaces a tiny bit thicker, but that does not affect the performance of the shoe. I dig it. And I do recommend this as a nice trail runner. If you want to run in the street with it, it did work fine for the streets. It does have the thicker lugger sole, so it's not necessarily meant for smooth terrain, and it is a bit loud on the smooth terrain, but it works just as good on the smooth as it does on the technical. So if you want a good all-around shoe, this might be for you. But with that, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.